unstable now. So whatever. We're just going to start the upload here. So whatever I was talking about before, who gives a care? It was just rambling anyway. Eloika. I've noticed two things seem to coincide with why I'm dropping upload. It's very annoying. So I might have to change stream times. Because I think it is like a time... Not like a time-based thing, but... A certain event typically happens around 12 o'clock. Which is weird, because I've been streaming at 12 o'clock for a very long time, and that typically doesn't happen. It's only been happening during the winter. And that's just so weird that it seems to only interrupt the stream. And not the internet. I mean, it does, but like, it just makes it very unstable. I don't know why. And I don't think there's anything I can change. I didn't say the cause. I'm being very vague. I'm just saying a certain event from 12 o'clock to around 2 o'clock seems to be causing it. It's weird that it's causing it now. Because there are plenty of streams where I'm up 12 o'clock, drop no frames, no change. Or, you know, whatever. If I drop like a couple hundred, it's not that bad. That's like a few seconds of dropped frames because we're at 60 FPS. But man, that is annoying. But I've kind of been, obviously, you know, you know, but like, I haven't been on time for streams for a while. But the problem is, like, when we're going later in the day, yeah, like I'd either have to start like way earlier, like 9 o'clock is fine. Well, it's not really fine. I mean, it is fine. I would just have to rearrange the workflow. And it's mostly the dinner aspect of life. Because if I end stream around 3 or 4, you know, I can help and or do all the prep. And typically, I don't want to be streaming during the time where I should have a meal. Not to say, like, that I need to eat all the time. I'm okay with not eating. I know there are other people who are not okay with not eating.
Oh, a customer.
So I'd either have to start after 5 o'clock and go back to like the old stream time, like 6 or 7 o'clock, which is kind of prime. I don't know. It's prime time. But I feel like I'm not even competing with the people who I used to think I was competing against. Which was kind of the main reason why I decided to start going earlier. Not only that, but like also because I could start earlier. I did it again. I can't remember which button is the spell button. But yeah, I see what's causing it, and it's so bizarre. It's not that bizarre, but the circumstance is bizarre. And it could just be because of the weather. It might be like, hey, connections are mostly stable, but hey, if there's any kind of wobbling going on, I don't know how to explain it, that could affect the connection. Yeah, it's gonna get unstable. So it's stable, but not stable enough to maintain. That's frustrating. Frustrating. We're already at 2 o'clock. And I've had to cut essentially 30 minutes off. And I did start slightly late. Slightly later than late. At like 1:15. That sucks. That really sucks. Great conversation. I wish I didn't lose that 30 minutes. I technically could retrieve it. But then if I edit it together, it's going to be locked to 30 FPS. But at least there's a solution. There's a solution somewhere. I just don't know where. Maybe I'll test it tomorrow, see if it's consistent. Which it seems like it is. We'll see. Tomorrow, regardless of what's going on, I will start at 12 o'clock. And if it at around 1 o'clock, 1 o'clock to 2, or even slightly around 12 o'clock. If we start dropping frames, I know exactly what's causing it. Which, for whatever reason, shouldn't be causing it, but does anyway. So I probably won't do anything too crazy. I'll probably just do something like throwaway. I don't want to be in the middle of an Elden Ring chunk like what happened today and lose it. Not really lose it, but you know. Be forced to do some shoddy handiwork. I think that was the last one. So fingers crossed. It's not consistent, but I have a feeling it is. And I don't know why. I don't know why. And I didn't do anything. I didn't restart router or anything. Maybe it does need a reset. Maybe that's something. I'll do that. We'll be live tomorrow. Then we'll see if we start losing. Please pick up. But besides that, I wasn't really talking about much. I guess this item just is not obtainable anywhere. Let's go. No, I think that's one up there. I thought there was 5. Or did we do 5? Am I just miscounting? If you're watching on YouTube, you'll probably say you only did 1 or 2. Once again, stream got interrupted. So that part's just not... It's just gonna be gone. It's on Twitch, but like I ain't downloading it and editing it and then losing the frame rate. Please? That went poorly. Yeah, besides that stress in my life, still got a little bit more stress in my life on currently in process illustration. Which I would like to get done on the weekend. I'd like to get it lined and colored. Saturday and Sunday. So we can kind of be on pace, and mostly on pace, for at least one piece a month. And I was thinking about it. I'm like, that's probably not enough to really change things. And I think until the time of, you know, me grinding books and practicing turns into me just making stuff, I think it's hard to say how much will change. Why did I rest? Yeah, until I can actually turn like practice time into make stuff time, I think that's kind of going to be a key component. Which might sound obvious, but I don't know, man. I've seen pretty inconsistent stuff work. That's got me a little bit stressed. So I should maybe tone it down a little bit, because I'm kind of, in my brain, I'm like, this has to immediately succeed. When I know that's probably not going to happen. Too unpracticed, too unrefined. Too unknown. And if the coloring process kind of bleeds into the week, like I kind of have a hard cutoff by the end of the month. I get it lined, and I maybe don't like the first pass. I have to spend another day kind of fixing it. I mean, it doesn't take a day, but it's gonna take, you know, some amount of hours. I'll redo it. Because consistency is important. This seems like to be the only thing I can talk about right now. Is just Please let the future be better. Slash, let me be better in the future. I mean, I did bring up Splatoon and the DLC, which I guess is lost. That's coming out next month, so that's at least something. That's something for February. I did look up a couple release dates, and I think from what Google said, Thousand Year Door comes out the same day as the Peach game, which sounds true. Because there was a reason in my head where I'm like, I'm not going to get Thousand Year Door, I'm going to get the Peach game. And if it's because the release dates were the same, then that makes sense. But now I swapped on what game I want. Sorry, my phone was ringing. You're not a secret here? Or was that just the secret? I think that's just it. My brain kind of remembers that. But you might loop around. I thought that's how you got up to this part. Maybe not. I guess technically I'm like, oh, well, that's for February, but I forgot that we're speculating, not confirmed, speculating that Elden Ring is going to be also at the end of February. Which is weird, because we're doing Elden Ring and Mario right now. And I don't think the DLC will take a month. There's going to be a lot of Elden Ring and a lot of Mario on the channel. Which is fine, because I like those things. Oh, I didn't like this one. I think it was because of the bow and arrows. Yeah, how do you get up there? I have no clue. I have some clue. But I think that was all of them. I don't think there's any more flames I need to light. We can take care of the ancestral spirit. And mostly be done with this area. I'm going to take the other lift up in Caelid. Because that's what we're doing next. And it's basically just going to be clearing out whatever's on the map, doing some side quests, and what the heck is it? The Crucible Night fight. I missed one. But I mean, the Splatoon DLC actually looks good. And I don't know, we might play a little bit of Splatoon online. I don't think so because it's kind of... We're at that skill gap problem where I've stopped playing. And most people who play Splatoon probably have not stopped playing. And it was already kind of like that early on. I mean, the normal mode is not going to be like that, but ranked, i.e. the mode that counts, we might be cooked. Also, I probably can't aim anymore. Is that it? Is the one? Oh, there's a little alert that'll stop me from attacking and doing whatever I want. So let me know. Why'd I do that? Yeah, I'm trying to think of what I can do as a one-off. I don't want to just do like panel to pawn for like 2 hours. As fun as that would be. And I don't think I could stick with Isaac for that long. Monster Hunter might be an idea. You guys made Monster Hunter look so fun last night. And by you guys, I mean... You know who you are. No, the problem is I probably could only do one run of Isaac. And then I'll be like, yeah, I'm tired now. This was like baby's actual first time playing Isaac, I could probably play that game for like 4 hours without even realizing how much time had passed. Thanks. But I was stuck on the grind last night. That's the problem. Also, that's another part of the problem. Is I kind of have to use my free time as practice grind. If I didn't have to practice, if I was like, okay, well, you know what? I know that the stuff I make now is good enough. And, you know, X people are doing this thing that day. I could probably do that. And I mean, I can do that now. But I would prefer to not take that chance on that time. Yeah, I could reinstall Monster Hunter and give it a go. Because nobody cares about the start of Monster Hunter. Nobody gives a care. Excuse me. Could just do Fortnite. I still have a couple quests to do. Actually, I've got a lot more quests to do because they just added more, as well as Solid Snake, who is extremely easy to get. I did all of his quests to get him in one game. Except for, like, hide in the cardboard box for 10 seconds because I didn't even find one. I haven't even found one. They added some fun camo that might be useful. I can't really tell. Maybe in singles. In squads, probably not so much. I was playing with people, but I wasn't playing with people I know. I was just squatting up to do quests because it's easier. Well, some of them are easier. Some of them are harder. I think it's maybe one of these you have to take that brings you up. Don't do it. Yeah, that's using your noodle. Yeah, Monster Hunter World. You guys make it look fun every time. And I mean, it is fun. It's my own fault because I always get Monster Hunter. And, never end up playing with anyone. Even with Rise. Because, you know, a lot of people bought Rise. But when I guess the update or DLC came out, and it also launched on PC, I'm like, oh, well, you know, I already have all my stuff on Switch, so I'll just buy the update on Switch. But what's that? Everyone is re-buying the whole game on PC? Whoops. But even when it was exclusive on Switch, like, I just could not get a game together. I mean, this was like, I don't know, 6-7 months into streaming. And considering we are still only teetering the 0s and 1s, you can probably guess how things were like back then. Actually, things are maybe slightly worse now. You bought Rise and never played it. I think it's because it kind of just got the bad rep. Or rap, or however you want to say that. Got a bad rap. Because the mechanics kind of just... It made everything too uniform. Didn't matter what weapon you used. Didn't matter if you got put into a bad spot. And I've talked about this again. This is something I've mentioned fairly recently. Yeah, it's just like, I don't know. It's too easy to do everything. So it kind of just took me out. Like, oh, I can just beat these guys because who cares? Also, some of the stuff in that game is just overpowered. Like, before the expansion, I don't even remember what it's called. It's called like Bloodborne. It was not Bloodborne, but it was kind of like that. They put like the best sword and shield item like in the game. It was like 100% affinity. And all you had to do to deal with that, or it had like low sharpness, but it had 100% affinity, or 50%, or something. Is you just had to build one skill, which was on like a set of gloves that were pretty good, and you could just sock it in like the missing, like level, Sunbreak. I just remember the monster was like a vampire dragon. I'm like, oh, it's like Bloodborne. Actually, a handful of the new monsters were like based on movie monsters, which I actually like. It's just they're not very memorable. Yeah, like everything was just strong. And like once I had that, I was like, what is the point of building anything else? I will never, you know, bounce off any monster now because I have I can't remember what it's called. The clear mind or something. Steady mind. I can't remember the skill. Like you would never, you know, bounce off, and like the lower your durability was, like the better it was. And then when Sunbreak came out, there was like, here's the next level. And I'm like, okay, easy peasy. And even when I did swap weapons, because again, they made it very easy to swap weapons, which is at least a plus to try different things. And they kind of did that in World, but they definitely made it easier in Sunbreak or Rise, whatever you want to call it. It was just too easy to get everything, and every fight was just not a challenge because it didn't matter. Again, it didn't matter what you picked. Like if you picked Greatsword and you're just, you know, obviously you're slow. You do have a block, but it's not great. But like it doesn't matter because you can just use the wire bugs to get out of like, oh man, I'm knocked over here and I'm gonna take a big follow-up. Well, I'll just zip away and be safe. And that was every weapon. Every weapon could do that. Or you would just like wait to have like your big move. And like, it was just... It was fun. I will admit, it was fun. It did up the fun factor. This guy's very annoying. But it toned down the engagement factor. It is definitely the most brain dead Monster Hunter. And also there was something really early on, like the what the heck were they called? The little amulets. So Monster Hunter, I even think World has this. I think every Monster Hunter has this. But when you start a game, you kind of get like seeded into what amulets you can find and what can be crafted, just like through the whatever gacha system. There was one amulet that was so good that people were looking up like, okay, if my game lets me forge these ones out of these, I'm not in this save, so I'm just going to restart so I can get this. And I don't know if, like, you could get it in the other, like if you were not in that save seed, you could use like the random, you know, just give me a completely random one with a bunch of trash used as the cost. You could still get it, but it was like way more difficult. So people figured that game out so fast. Monster Hunter World, I only feel like I need to think if there's 2 or 3 monsters fighting at a time. Yeah, you kind of do need to strategize, and it's kind of like that in Rise. It's not like it's hard to solve the problem. And I think, what the heck is it called? The Turf War, I think that's actually a good feature. I do not know this guy's movements. We're dead. He missed. It really wants me to target onto the leg, which is not happening. Not a big fan of this guy reading my inputs. Let's go. Okay, new move. That's it again. That's fine. That's not so fine. Oh, please. What do you mean? I went for greed. But here's hoping for Wilds. Here's hoping for Monster Hunter Wilds, which I think is actually going to be far superior to not only World, but also Rise. I thought he did a like a pull. Don't. Kind of did. He kind of did. I missed that again, but I kind of was expecting to. I went for a big move. Back. Okay. I thought that was the other move, but I guess I did not recognize them correctly. Okay, that's the move. No problem. I mean, it was a slight problem. I did kill it. But this guy did kind of have the Elden Ring special of, I'm going to kill you in 2 hits unless you're at full health. Which is always great. You love to see it. All right, and I think that's everything here. I think that's all I can think about, really. We go up to Kaled. Just start whittling away at that. Actually, no, there is a little bit more. Thank you. Not too much more. How many times am I going to say not too much more? Try and fill empty space. Yeah, I'll think about it. Monster Hunter World. Honestly, if we're not... I mean, you can't really... It's so weird that there's like a bit of a divide now. World is such a dividing game. Now you have classic Monster Hunter, and now you have like modern Monster Hunter. And it's all World's fault. And I think if we're talking just everything, I still think 4 is probably the best. Just kind of hit at the right time. Great 3DS game. I was talking about 3DS games never being ported in the previous chunk that will not be uploaded. And how it's probably just because you'd have to build up so many of them from the ground up. Because their engines probably just don't translate well to either modern engines or just current generation hardware. So as much as a Monster Hunter 4 HD is probably wanted, I don't think it'll ever happen. I think it's just going to stay glued to the 3DS. I think that was it. All that for 10 arrows. And I think like a flower. Man, I really want Kid Icarus Uprising HD. I want that so bad. But it's so unlikely. Even though it's like the #1 game ever made. It is definitely my #1. Yeah, and I was talking about how like Elden Ring is kind of a once a year kind of game. And how it always seems like I end up playing it around the time it was released. Obviously, you know, with the launch. But then I stopped. And I came back to it, which was around January, February. Now we're playing it again. It's January, February. But Kid Icarus Uprising is like... Not a once a year game, that's a once a month game. If I had to just plan like, hey, I'm gonna test some settings or troubleshoot some connection settings, that's probably what I would play. I could marathon that game. And the music's good. Actually, I was looking at Spotify. And they have like the whole like Kirby 25th or 30th anniversary like orchestra on there. So anytime there's just like a little bit of Nintendo stuff on Spotify, it's getting added. And they had Kirby Air Ride, which instantly on the playlist. Didn't have all the good songs. It only had a couple. It had the one that mattered. But it didn't have everything that mattered because it was probably just like whatever, we'll just do a little bit of everything and then we'll get to the songs everyone knows. But Kid Icarus Uprising has like that level of soundtrack. And I think it was kind of one of those things that was brought up. 'Cause there was a Club Nintendo reward. And I think it was the UK and Japan. They got to pick Kid Icarus Uprising soundtrack as like one of their like gold member rewards. Nice gold member. And all you got in like North America and Canada was like posters. And it was like, thanks. I do have a very nice Kid Icarus Uprising poster that is rolled up. But man, I would love that soundtrack. And don't ask me to emulate, man. I am not emulating. I would sooner contact the guy who installs the capture cards into 3DSs than emulate. Great, I didn't see what that said. I think it probably said, come back when you're a bit richer. I've never noticed the skeleton. There is a fight there, but I think you have to have certain stuff either in your inventory or it's a certain talisman. And then that's how you get like the better version of that talisman. I'll have to look it up. I don't think that guy is like questline related or like it's missable. I think you can just come back to him whenever. So it's not the end of the world. I really don't want to fight that guy, but we're going to. I'm gonna fight him. Yo, somebody liked the message, gave me a free heal. I might have to delete that. That didn't happen on stream. That's just a random message out in the world. I feel like it's maybe the lock-on that stops that from working. Oh, the nice thing about fighting those guys all the time, you learn how to fight them. Stone's word key. What? Oh, I get it. There's no way to go but this way, so that's probably up and around. I think we need a 5. We either need a 4 or a 5 to upgrade. Big beetle. I'd like some crafting material. Thanks. Pollyanna? Actually, is that where the boss is? Because I know we have to fight him. Or a quest item. Yes, right there. Thankfully, he's being really nice. Okay. Generosity's over. No. That's not great. Don't do it. Oh no. I have to look at my inventory for that item. Isn't Commander O'Neill from Stargate? Guy, you're asking the wrong person. You're asking the guy who would say, oh, I know Kratos. He's from Stargate. That's the extent of my Stargate knowledge, except I know there's like Stargate and like Stargate Atlantis. And probably some other Stargate. Stargate 20XD6. Get me out. Wonder, can you parry this guy? He's toast! Coming in, the boys. Oh my. They drained all of my stamina. And by they, I mean, it was kind of my fault. Isn't there like a craftable? Actually, let's start making some of this. Where it's like turns like enemies against each other. To spawn a vengeful spirit. Why not? Where was I going? Which direction? Oh, that was at the bonfire. I actually was so lost. Oh. It's busted. Don't go that far, though. It does hurt, but not enough. Not quite enough. Nice camera. Cool skulls. And with a big one. I was hoping for a little bit more. We're good. So I don't know if I've said this yet, but I remember talking about like, oh, this guy's got like Elden Ring moves. You know how like, you know, you see their startup and then like they hold it, they hold it, they hold it, you know, and then they swing. That was greed, but paid off. You know, since playing Lies of P, I've kind of like, my way of looking at their movements has changed slightly. Instead of like swing, it's like wind up and then swing later. Now it's like wind up, watch for their tell, and then swing. Like they've just added an extra step. Like you have to recognize the move. Okay, it's this move. He swings when he is about to, when he wiggles his baby toe. That's when you roll. It's like there has to be a way. You just can't have a game where your character like, I mean, there's a couple like, Margit has like his big wind up and then he like leans forward and then it's like he leans back and it's like, that's like the Elden Ring move right there. You know, and then he leans forward again and then he actually swings. It's not just a game of action reaction anymore. And I mean, that's well known at this point. But I didn't start paying attention to stuff like that until Lies of P.